the Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I beg to move that a bill entitled An Act to Make Jurisdiction for Matters of a Civil Nature exercisable in a division of the judiciary to be known as the Civil Division, and to make jurisdiction for specified civil matters exercisable in a subdivision of the Civil Division known as the Civil Court, to make jurisdiction for small valued claims exercisable in a subdivision of the Civil Division to be known as the Small Claims Courts, to make jurisdiction for estates administration business exercisable in a subdivision of the Civil Division known as the Estates Administration Office, and for related matters be now read a second time. Madam Speaker, permit me to comment that, as I begin this debate, that it is a remarkable coincidence in the context of the opening today of the new law term and the remarks of the Honourable Chief Justice that this bill is being debated for passage in this House today, this bill having been first listed on the order paper on the 28th of June 2024. It is one of those bills which I met when I took office in March 2022 and which, encouraged by the very cordial and productive relationship which I enjoy with the Honourable Chief Justice in my tenure, was reviewed by the Legislative Review Committee, a subcommittee of the Cabinet, and was agreed to by Cabinet Minute on the 11th of October 2023. The primary focus of the bill before the House, Madam Speaker, is to establish a civil division with clearly defined subdivisions that can accommodate the Civil High Court, handle smaller civil cases more efficiently, and manage estate administration, that is to say, probate matters, more effectively, given that the expeditious management and outflow of the probate registry currently faces significant delays. Madam Speaker, the bill seeks to streamline judicial operations through the creation of 3 subdivisions within the Civil Division. 1, the Civil Court Subdivision, and that is Part 3 of the bill, the Small Claims Subdivision, Part 4 of the bill, and the Estates Administration Subdivision, Part 5 of the bill. The key points, Madam Speaker, with respect to the exercise that this bill brings into being once passed, is that the Civil Division is expected to be structured similarly to other specialized courts in Trinidad and Tobago, examples of which are the Family and Children Division and the Criminal Division and District Criminal Court, Criminal and Traffic Courts. The Civil Division will focus on streamlining civil cases within a specialized court structure that can expedite the resolution of small claims as it affects the common men and women in the streets of Trinidad and Tobago, in our communities and other parts, and manage estate administration, that is to say, probate matters, much more efficiently and expeditiously. The legislative changes, that is to say, the establishment of the Small Claims Subdivision, is a critical element, and the bill proposes repealing the Petty Civil Court Act to modernize the case management and case flow management approach within the financial jurisdiction of small claims below $50,000. The Civil Division Bill will codify the creation of this new structure, enabling efficient procedures and processes for small claims and estate administration. The current Petty Civil Court, Madam Speaker, has inefficiencies, including lengthy time to dispose of cases, average of 2 years, and administrative bottlenecks. The probate registry is significantly delayed, completing only about 35% of large estate cases filed each year, causing understandable, extensive public frustration. It is those ills that this bill seeks to modify effectively and expeditiously in order to make the delivery of the justice system, as it affects all of our citizenry, that much more effective. In estates administration, the bill proposes against the reality of a probate unit which is insufficiently resourced to address and manage the complexity of legal administration issues and caseload. The establishment of an estates administration office within the Civil Division is proposed to tackle these inefficiencies through specialized staffing and procedural reforms. And we can, as we speak of specialized staffing, we can think back to the remarks of the Honorable Chief Justice this morning. The overall objective is to modernize the civil justice system in Trinidad and Tobago, making it more responsive and equally expeditiously to respond to the needs of the public and business sectors while reducing delays and improving accessibility. Proposed solutions which this bill is bringing, therefore, to the public of Trinidad and Tobago. I've already spoken of the creation of the Civil Division, the repeal of the Petty Civil Court, which, mark the time, which was passed in this country in 1911, and the enactment of new legislation to govern a small claim subdivision. Global benchmarking from jurisdictions like Canada, the UK, and Singapore, which have been drawn on by the judiciary, recommended to the Cabinet and accepted by the Cabinet in the establishment of a small claims court. The probate unit overhaul, with a dedicated estate administration office to address backlog issues in estates administration. People pass on, they either make wills or they fail to make wills. The process at the moment of realizing the transfer intended or otherwise to the children and grandchildren of the deceased persons is one which ought to be and deserves to be handled much more efficiently than we are handling it at this point in time, and it is that, among other things, that this bill proposes to address. Technological advancements, Madam Speaker, virtual courts, e-filing, and online dispute resolution platforms proposed to address delays. In the global context, Madam Speaker, the introduction of the Small Claims Court, as I've already said, has been recognized as best practice in global jurisdiction, with 138 economies worldwide adopting similar specialized courts. And in the draft which the judiciary brought to the Cabinet, which the Cabinet examined very carefully, that draft is now before this bill with models drawn from Canada, Singapore, the European Union, and the United Kingdom to ensure a robust small claims system. Madam Speaker, the Civil Division Administration Department, which is addressed in Part 6 of the bill, was established, in fact, by a Cabinet decision in June of 2020 and has already been operational. But what this bill is seeking to do is to codify that department's formal establishment, outlining its key roles and responsibilities to ensure that the Civil Division functions effectively and with appropriate oversight. That department will continue to be responsible for strategic planning for the division and supporting the overall operations of the Civil Court Division, Small Claims Subdivision, and Estates Administration Subdivision, ensuring an integrated and efficient administrative system for all civil cases under the jurisdiction of the new Civil Division. The intention, Madam Speaker, of the Civil Division Administrative Unit is to centralize all administrative processes for the Civil Division, ensuring that there are clear operational guidelines and responsibilities. And by doing this, the judiciary aims to avoid the pitfalls of inefficiency and backlog which have plagued other judicial functions, particularly within the jurisdiction of probate and small claims. Similar to the Family and Children Division Act and the Criminal Division and District Criminal and Traffic Courts Act, the Civil Division is being established now by this bill, by a specific statute, ensuring its formal recognition and operation as part of Trinidad and Tobago's judiciary. All of these divisions, that is to say, the Family and Children Division, the Criminal and Civil and Traffic Courts Division, are being set up to address specific strategies and needs within the compass of specialized courts, improving efficiency and access to justice. Madam Speaker, just as with the Family and Children Division and the Criminal Division and District Criminal and Traffic Courts rely on their own administrative structures for support, the Civil Division Administration Department, within the compass of this bill, now before this Parliament, will function similarly to provide essential administrative services to the Civil Division. These administrative departments are vital in ensuring that each division can handle the distinct type of case under its purview and to handle them efficiently. As with the Family Court Division and the Criminal District Court Traffic Courts, staff can enjoy terms and conditions on fixed contracts for periods of up to 5 years and renewable, subject to performance. Madam Speaker, the focus on specialization and efficiency, the core similarity between the Civil Division of the Family and Children Division and Criminal Division is that focus, a focus on handling specialized cases. The establishment of these dedicated divisions with their own subdivisions reflects the ongoing strategic focus by the judiciary, which this cabinet has accepted and has been supported as the government of Trinidad and Tobago, of which I am proud to be part, to streamline the processes and deliver faster, more focused justice in areas which have historically faced inefficiencies inherited from our antiquated systems. And I emphasize that, as I said at the beginning, it is remarkably coincidental that we are here today to debate a bill against the backdrop of remarks of the Honorable Chief Justice this morning in the context of his call for improving the justice system of Trinidad and Tobago. If one were to go through, and if you give me leave, Madam Speaker, just some sections of the Act, if we were to look at Part 3 of the Act, which brings into being the Civil Court, we see that Section 7, subsection 2 says, well, first of all, Section 1 says, sitting of the Civil Court shall be held at such locations and such times as the Chief Justice may appoint in accordance with the Supreme Court of Judicature Act. And subsection 2 tells us that notwithstanding subsection 1, the Civil Court may, when required and appropriate, sit at any time and may conduct hearings by telephone, video link, or other appropriate electronic means. That is to say, bringing that small claims court, this administration of estates as well, into the 21st century and improving its efficiency.
A motor vehicle
Section
benefit?
10 of the bill tells us that a civil court master shall exercise all of the authority of masters, of a judge, which are conferred on masters under the Supreme Court of Judicature Act. And where that master exercises jurisdiction in relation to those civil matters, he or she shall have all the rights, powers, immunities, and privileges of a civil court judge in relation to that matter. Section 12, importantly, and very importantly, tells us that the staff of the civil court shall be A, public officers, and B, an appropriate number of other persons engaged on contract by the court executive administrator and who shall hold office for up to 5 years but may be eligible for re-engagement. And importantly, Madam Speaker, by Section 2, subsection 2 of 12, those persons shall possess the requisite special training, experience, and temperament suitable for appointment to the civil court in accordance with the court's performance standards. We can pause there to reflect on the remarks of the Honorable Chief Justice this morning about the conversation that he's trying to have with the Salaries Review Commission and the Chief Personnel Officer. Let me repeat, Section 12, subsection 2 tells us that the persons referred to in subsection 1A shall possess the requisite special training, experience, and temperament suitable for appointment to the civil court in accordance with the court's performance standards. This is a bill that is before the Parliament today, that was approved by the Cabinet to be brought here for passage into law on the recommendation of the judiciary in the ongoing conversation that continues to take place between the judiciary, represented by the Chief Justice, and the executive, represented by the Office of the Attorney General, myself, in an engagement with the judiciary that does not rely on the artificiality of persons who claim to be constitutional experts when they speak to the so-called separation of powers. The reality is this government accepts that it must engage with, speak with, and work with the judiciary as an independent arm under the Constitution to progress the quality of administration of justice for the citizens of this country. Part 4 of the bill before this House this afternoon, Madam Speaker, deals with the establishment of the Small Claims Court. The Small Claims Court at Section 14 shall have jurisdiction to hear and determine any action in relation to a small claim and a small claims matter. And may I say that the Small Claims Court, I've already pointed out, is going to, by the passage of this bill, is going to repeal the Petty Civil Court. The jurisdiction of the Small Claims Court shall be with reference to matters of $50,000 or less. So we are dealing with the small business people, small families, persons who have disputes, who need quick access to justice and a ready and available court that will not be mired in the inefficiencies that has been the hallmark of the petty civil court system. Madam Speaker, Section 15 tells us, as we specialize the jurisdiction of the Small Claims Court, that a Small Claims Court shall not have jurisdiction to hear and determine a claim for libel, slander, or malicious prosecution. That will remain with the High Court in the Civil Division of the High Court. Section 19 tells us, consistent with bringing our courts into the 21st century, that a Small Claims Court may conduct hearings by telephone, video link, or any other appropriate electronic means. And the functions and duties of the Small Claims Court are set out in relation to the functions and duties of the senior magistracy registrar and clerk of the court at Section 22, and is lettered from letter A through to letter P. Section 23 tells us a Small Claims Court shall, in addition to judicial officers, be staffed with A, public officers, B, an appropriate number of other persons engaged on contract by the court executive administrator who shall hold office for up to 5 years but may be eligible for reappointment. And subsection 2 repeats the earlier subsection in relation to the Civil Division Court, that those persons are required to possess the requisite special training, experience, and temperament suitable for appointment to the Small Claims Court in accordance with the court's performance standards. Madam Speaker, the Small Claims Court, Section 25, may refer a small claims matter to mediation. So we are introducing through the Small Claims Court the concept of alternative dispute resolution. All matters don't have to go through the old adage of saying, I'm selling my house to pay my lawyer because I'm taking you to court until the last cent is done. You are going to have people being encouraged, and it is interesting that the Act also says that the Rules Committee under the Supreme Court of Judicature will have the jurisdiction to make rules for the Small Claims Court. We're going to have a mediation process by which claims of under $50,000 can be resolved through mediation, alternative dispute resolution. And we are assured by Section 26, without prejudice to Section 36 of the Supreme Court of Judicature Act, that there shall be a right of appeal to the Court of Appeal from any judgment or order in any action brought under this part being the jurisdiction of the Small Claims Court, being an action in which the sum claimed is more than $2,000. Part 5 of the bill before this House, Madam Speaker, establishes the Estates Administration Office. That is the office that is going to take over the work and function of what we now know as the probate registry to make it that much more efficient. And Section 30 tells us there shall be an Estates Administration Office in North Trinidad. Section 32 tells us, notwithstanding subsection 1, there will also be an Estates Administration Sub-Office in South Trinidad and in Tobago. We are told again by Section 30, harking back to the remarks I have made earlier with respect to the Civil Division and the Small Claims Court, that the Office of the Estates Administration will be staffed with particular named offices, including subsection 2, a public office, B, a person engaged on contract by the court executive administrator who shall hold office for up to 5 years but may be eligible for re-engagement, and importantly, possess, subsection 3, possess the requisite special training, experience, and temperament suitable for appointment to the Estates Administration Office in accordance with the office's performance standards. And then Part 6 tells us, Madam Speaker, that there shall be appointed under this Act the Civil Division of the Judiciary. That Civil Division Administrative Department shall comprise a number of offices. Section 33, I beg your pardon, subsection 2. The Civil Division Administration Department shall comprise a central coordinating office, a civil court administrative office, an estates administrative office, and a small claims administrative office. And that the central coordinating office shall comprise a human resource unit, a finance and accounts unit, a records management unit, a mediation unit, a civil court information, communications, and technology unit, and such other units as may be determined by the Chief Justice. We see that we are coming into the 21st century with the structure of this bill, which is currently before this House. Madam Speaker, the Civil Administration Department at Section 36 tells us that in addition to judicial offices, that department will be staffed with an appropriate number of suitably qualified persons as determined from time to time by the Court Executive Administrator, and shall include A, public officers, and B, an appropriate number of other persons engaged on contract by the Court Executive Administrator, who shall hold office for a term not exceeding 5 years, but may be eligible for reappointment. And we are told that there will be a number of managers within the Civil Administration Department. So 37 tells us, Section 37 that is, tells us that the Civil Court and the Small Claims Court shall have in each location, remembering that there will be locations in San Fernando, Port of Spain, and in Tobago, in each location a court manager who shall be responsible for the management of the particular location. The Estates Administration Manager, that is Section 37.3, shall perform the duties of a court manager in relation to the Estates Administration Office and may be assisted by assistant court managers. And we are told that Section 38, Madam Speaker, as we continue to take Trinidad and Tobago through the 21st century, the Estates Administration Records Management Unit shall be headed by a digital records manager who shall have overall responsibility for the Estate Administration's Record Management Unit and shall report to the Estates Administration Manager. All of these are improvements, and I stress this, Madam Speaker, as I hark back to the remarks. I sat and I listened to the Chief Justice this morning, and he, in very frank terms, spoke to the challenges that the judiciary is having, and what I found very coincidental and remarkable coming from Napa this morning, where I sat and listened to the Honorable Chief Justice in his opening of term speech. Here we are on the very day, in the afternoon, speaking to legislation which is the product of the collaboration and the conversation which has been taking place between the Chief Justice on behalf of the judiciary and the executive, that is to say the Cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago, so that we can advance the system. May I say in that context, Madam Speaker, we have had, and I have been privileged to be part of conversations in which the Finance and General Purposes Subcommittee of the Cabinet has actually been sitting and is still sitting with the Chief Justice and some of his nominated judicial and court executive administrators to work through some of the notes that are before Cabinet, so that when Cabinet eventually approves those notes, it is done with full oversight, knowledge, and understanding of the needs of the judiciary. And it is out of that exercise, remarkably coincidentally, that this bill is before this House this afternoon for the creation of the Civil Division. Part 7 of the bill tells us that a member of staff of the Civil Division Administration, the Civil Court, a Small Claims Court, and the Estates Administration Court shall, prior to the assumption of duty, make an oath or affirmation of secrecy before a judge or justice of the peace. Section 40, importantly, tells us that the Rules Committee established under Section 77 of the Supreme Court of Judicature Act may make rules of court for stating the pecuniary jurisdiction of the Small Claims Court and generally for giving effect to the purposes of this Act. Rules made under this section shall be subject to negative resolution of the Parliament. 41 saves everything that exists before this bill comes into law once passed by this Parliament. So Section 41 tells us that a small claims matter which was instituted in the High Court or the Petty Civil Court, the High Court or the Small Claims Court, as the case may be, shall have jurisdiction to continue to hear and determine the proceedings, notwithstanding any provision to the contrary in this Act. Subsection 2, the High Court or a Petty Civil Court which was vested with jurisdiction to enforce, renew, vary, suspend, revive, cancel or discharge an order in respect of a small claims matter, and by virtue of this Act such jurisdiction is vested in the Small Claims Court, the jurisdiction shall continue to be exercisable by the High Court or a Small Claims Court. Subsection C, where before the commencement of this Act an appeal was instituted in the High Court or the Petty Civil Court, the High Court or the Small Claims Court, as the case may be, shall have jurisdiction to continue to hear and determine the proceedings, notwithstanding any provision to the contrary in this Act. And subsection D, notice where before the commencement of this Act the High Court was vested with jurisdiction to conduct estate administration business, and by virtue of this Act such jurisdiction vests in the Estates Administration Office, that jurisdiction shall be exercisable by the Estates Administration Office. And the written laws, Section 42, specified in the first column of the schedule, are amended to the extent specified in that schedule. And we see when we look at the schedule that the laws that are referred to are the Bailiffs Act, the Summary Courts Act, and the Criminal Division and District Criminal and Traffic Courts. And Section 43 tells us, lastly, that the Petty Civil Court Act is repealed. So, Madam Speaker, in conclusion, as I come to the end of my remarks on this important piece of legislation which we are asking this House to pass, we see that the Civil Division Bill, when passed, will formally establish the Civil Division Administration Department, centralize the management of civil matters under 3 subdivisions, similar to that which already exists under the Family and Children Division Act and the Criminal Division Act. These reforms, Madam Speaker, aim to enhance the efficiency, to modernize judicial processes, and align the civil justice system with global best practices. And with those few words, Madam Speaker, I beg to move.